Hey guys, All Sports 83 sporting another video at you, and it's time for another XFL video as I'm going to preview and predict all 4 XFL games for Week 3 of the season. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the Houston Roughnecks and the Tampa Bay Vipers are going to kick off the games this week. This game is going to be at 2 p.m. on ABC. And it's going to be the Tampa Bay Vipers home opener. They have not played a game at home yet. And kind of the same for the Roughnecks. They actually haven't played a game on the road yet. So it's going to be a different look for both of these teams. Going to get to see some new uniforms in a way. So those away uniforms for the Roughnecks, home uniforms for the Vipers. But in terms of the game itself, it's not going to look pretty, I don't think. Based on the way both of these teams have played so far in the season, the Vipers have looked terrible. If you've watched my power rankings video, you know that the Tampa Bay Vipers for the second straight week have been the number 8 team in an 8-team league. They just have not looked well at all. Roughnecks, on the other hand, they debuted after week 1 at number 1 in the rankings, and they fell back to number 2 last week, but they still had a very impressive win over the Battlehawks in week 2. So, on paper, this game just looks like a big mismatch. It just looks like the Roughnecks are going to have this game covered. Now, we don't know what they look like on the road. Being away can do something to a team. I can't imagine that it would do enough to the Roughnecks that this game is going to be real competitive based on what we've seen so far in the first 2 weeks of the season. Roughnecks have looked good 2 weeks in a row. The Vipers have looked bad 2 weeks in a row. And that's enough for me to go ahead and predict the Roughnecks are going to come out with this victory, and I think they're going to do it in pretty convincing fashion. The Roughnecks will get the road victory to stay undefeated with a score of 32-12. Our second game on Saturday is between a pair of 1-1 teams. The Dallas Renegades are going to travel to Seattle to take on the Dragons. This game can be seen at 5 p.m. on Fox. And, I'm not exactly sure what to think about this game just yet. This game has the potential of being a little closer than maybe a lot of people think it's going to be. I can tell you that I feel that if this game were in Dallas, I think that Dallas would handle this game easy. The Dragons are a little bit of a mystifying type of team so far. Outside of having a pretty good defense, they've kind of really been hit and miss on the offensive side of the ball. Brandon Silvers, really, there's 2 versions of him, so we're not really sure who we're going to get this weekend. If we get the better version of Brandon Silvers, this could be a real football game. I think it could be really, really close. Lots of fun to watch. Not really sure we'll see a terrible amount of offense in this game. Landry Jones is still trying to get his feet underneath him after his first game ever in the XFL last week. He did struggle for most of that game. He found some rhythm late. Ended up having some pretty good day as far as the stats are concerned. We'll see if he's able to continue the upward improvement in this game, but he is going to be traveling to Seattle. We don't know what the weather's going to be like there, so I'm going to say that this game could be close. Seattle's got that home field advantage. I think that's going to help them. They do draw really good crowds there, which I think will help them as well. So we'll just see. I do think ultimately, though, at the end of the day, I think the Dallas Renegades are probably going to come away with this victory, but I think it could be closer than we think if Brandon Silvers plays well. I'm going to go ahead and give this a score of 26-20. All right, moving on to the Sunday games, and we're going to start with the 3 o'clock game on ESPN. The Guardians are going to travel to St. Louis to take on the Battlehawks for their home opener. Now, this game, I don't think there's going to be much of a game here. That's just my feeling. I'd like to see the Guardians, kind of improve on what happened with them last week. Maybe for them to return maybe a little bit more to the form that we saw from week 1. But honestly, I think traveling on the road, going to St. Louis, I feel like this is going to be a pretty good crowd in St. Louis. They love their football, and they just lost of their pro team in the Rams a couple of years ago. I think they're going to turn out for this game, and I think where it's going to be in the dome. I think that they're going to travel, that they're going to be loud. Yeah, I just don't see this being much of a game. I think the Battlehawks are going to get this game. There's not much to say really about it, other than the fact that the Battlehawks have played two very impressive games. They won their first game in week 1, and really they could have easily won against the Roughnecks last week if it had not been for that bad call on the offsides, or the no call for the offsides. They played the Roughnecks really well, so I see them playing really well in their home opener. They're going to have that extra jolt from the home crowd. Jordan Ta'amu has been really fun to watch. I think he's going to continue to improve. I actually see the Battlehawks kind of running away with this game. I'm just going to go ahead and throw a score out there of 27-14. Finally, we're going to go to our last game of the weekend. You can find this game at 6 p.m. on FS1 this Sunday, and that's going to be the DC Defenders traveling all the way out west to take on the LA Wildcats. Now, this is another one of those games on paper. It just looks like a lopsided affair. It looks like the Defenders are going to walk into town, they're going to handle their business, and they're going to walk away. But I'm going to say, hang on a second for that one. You know it's going to happen at some point in the XFL. You know you're going to get that upset game. I think this could be the spot for that upset victory. The Defenders have not played on the road yet, so they don't have that acclimation to what it means to travel and do everything that's on the road. The LA Wildcats, they were home last week, so they got a whole week at home here before they get ready for this game. Josh Johnson has got his second straight week of football coming up. He kind of had an average debut in the XFL last week, but he did have some moments where he found some rhythm. So you're going to look for him to try to improve just a little bit. We don't know what kind of team the Defenders are going to be away from Audi Field in Washington. So I'm just going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that this is going to be our first real upset game in the XFL. I could totally be wrong about this game, but I think it's going to happen at some point, and I'm going to pick my spot right here, and I'm going to say the LA Wildcats are kind of come out with the surprise upset win with a final score of 22-18. So, hope you guys like the video. Jump down in the comments section below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your predictions are. Tell me how crazy you think I am for this upset victory for the Wildcats. And obviously, we're going to do a recap video next week, and we'll take a look and see how I did on these picks. I will say I'm pretty happy so far. After the first week that I did these recaps from week 2, or these previews for week 2, I am 4-0 in my predictions. We'll see if that I can hold that undefeated record after this weekend's games. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll certainly see you next time for some more XFL talk. Have a good one.